YouTube, what the crap's going on? And no, I'm not doing any historical battles. I was actually just doing a sound test when I fired this up. I have a replay for you, and so this might be a little confusing. I have a replay where I played as Epirus before, because again, I'm trying to show you all the factions in multiplayer, but they just released the Epirus update, so I wanted to play as Epirus with the update. So here is the battle. Let's load this up. So this ought to be exciting. I'm playing as Epirus, and my opponent is playing as the Seleucids, and it's on the Migdol map, which I think is a pretty fun map. It's mostly open, but it's got some scrub for hiding and cover for missile fire. Let me cover the armies with you here real quick. I'll just go to this screen because it's easier. I'm sporting 6 pikemen down the center, which are just standard run-of-the-mill pikemen, nothing special. Behind them's 4 Rhodian slingers, which is a considerable force. Then I've got 2 Agrionian axemen, and I have 2 Illyrian levies, 1 on each flank. I have 2 Hellenic royal cav on this flank, and then on this flank I have 2 of the new Thessalian cav, or Thessalian cav. Thessalian cav, however it's supposed to be said. In any case, they're pulling up my left flank. My opponent is playing as the Seleucids. He's got 2 light cav out here on this flank. His general is in an Indian armored elephant. He's got, I think, 3 thorax swordsmen, maybe just 2. Some might be hidden. He's got 4 pikemen as a main line. Yeah, I think it's 4 pikemen, 3 thorax swords, and I believe a couple of Thureos spears. Looks like 3 of those at this point. And then he's got 3 Persian light archers. And there's a couple of Hellenic cataphracts that are hidden right now as well. They come out of hiding here soon. He's got them hidden in this scrub over here, which is again why I like Migdol. It's open, but has a little more to offer. My opponent wasn't paying attention to this light cav, and my Thessalian cav proves right here what it's good at. It is shot cav, and it's quick, and it's cheap, and it just decimated that light cav without a single loss. Here, these guys were hiding, and I pounced them on my opponent as he tries to move around my lines, and again, the Thessalian cav is just going to just trounce this light cav. So an interesting unit to be sure, plus my slingers were firing in there, so again, I'm going to be able to slaughter this unit with almost no loss. So my Thessalian cav already paying for itself. My opponent's moving up in a little bit of a disorganized fashion. He's got these Persian light archers, and right now I'm just kind of torn on what to do. I really don't want to be firing at these Persian light archers, because the targets I really want to be focusing on are his own pikemen, because I know what he's going to try and do, probably, is to put these pikes up front and then start trying to outflank my own pikes with his more maneuverable units like the Thureos spears and the thorax swords. My coastal levies can hold back his, here's the stats on them. They should be able to hold back his Thureos spears for a time. They're not going to be able to hold back anything else. So I am going to try and kill his archers, because I decided that my own pikemen were probably fairly vulnerable to his own archers, and I couldn't just ignore them. So I go ahead and focus fire each of his archers, and you can see just how badly Persian archers fare against slingers. With absolutely no cover, these guys are just ripe to be destroyed by slingers. And I've already done that, and so now I'm going to reconcentrate my fire back onto this one unit of pikemen. My opponent starts pushing this flank with the Thureos spear leading for his thorax sword. This is actually a pretty smart move. You can see that he's basically screening with this unit, and he's going to attack with this unit. So I really like what he's doing there. Over here, he tried it, but without the thorax swordsman. I intercept his Thureos spears and then slam it in the flank with the Thessalian cav, or Thessalian cav. Managed to get a lot of kills, and then I'll just pull out this Thessalian cav before this thorax swords and second Thureos spear arrives. So the pike lines are lined up. My opponent's going for my flank. I get a little bit behind here. Do manage to kind of intercept that Thureos spear, and then I pull my my cav back because my opponent was trying to get him. I decimate one of his pikemen entirely with my Rhodians, and then the pike fight's going to begin proper here in the center. Not sure whose are better. My opponent brings his elephants this way to try and pin down my Thessalian cav, which you would think, run away from that. Actually, I decide to do something, and we'll see whether or not it turns out to be good. I decide to turn my Thessalian cav around, sacrifice it to hold these elephants still, while I click an attack order from here with my Agrionian axemen, and I'm going to try and take down his armored elephants before they can do anything. On this flank, his Hellenic cataphracts come out, and there's not much I can do to stop these guys. They are wildly superior to my own units, and one of them is moving and gets a nice flank charge of my pikes. It ends up helping it win that fight. I countercharge with my own men, but again, that's not a good fight for me, as Royal Cav will get beat by the cataphracts. I'm getting some decent fire from my Agrionian axemen onto his elephants at this point, but my men are a little bunched up, and you can see it's actually kind of slowing down the rate at which missiles are coming out here. I am causing considerable damage, but I'm not killing them as quickly as I could, as if I would have taken the time. See these 2 units bunched up in my own pikemen? They should have spread out more and taken the shots from here, and I probably could have killed that elephant entirely. In the middle, the pike fight went alright for me in some spots and didn't go right for me in other spots. Not sure what the reasoning is these pikes are pretty much the same. But in any case, for whatever reason, his pikes tended to do better. But here I'm getting lots of good shots on his elephants, and the Agrionian Axemen are very good missile units. Doesn't take them long. I've brought them because as a secondary ability, they're not all that different from coastal levies as far as melee stats, just that they're in loose formation because they're skirmishers, and I brought them to help be a support unit, potentially in late game. Turn my pikes here to intercept this Thurio spear, but I do have a thorax swords behind me. The elephants are run amok right now, but not gone entirely, and they do me a favor and plow over these archers real quick. See the remainder of my pikes standing here. Some of them did well, some of them didn't do so well. Again, just kind of a mixed result here depending on how I positioned them. I start pulling back all of my skirmishers because I can tell my opponent for the most part has broken my infantry, and this is going to turn into a skirmish fight. I turn my Agrionians onto this thorax sword and just absolutely decimate it with skirmish fire and then pull them out of this fight. So this allows my pike to reform here, and then gets this thorax sword to start chasing me. So this allows my thorax pike to potentially be successful. Use my Rhodian slingers to take out the remainder of these elephants from long range before my opponent could put them back to use. But now I'm in trouble. I've got 2 Hellenic cataphracts bearing down on, hundreds and hundreds of talents worth of skirmish units here. So what I do at the last second, you're going to see me split up and run in every direction so that he has to choose where to focus. At which point I intercept him temporarily with this Illyrian levy that came back from routing. This is going to give me a chance to break up, allow him to attack 1 unit, not all 4. And I'm going to start just ripping these guys apart with slinger fire as fast as I can so you can see all the attack orders I have. I'm just like, attack, 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 come on. So I got my Rhodian slingers firing into the back of those cataphracts. I will be able to kill a few. My opponent isn't as quick to get these guys into the fight, but now here he comes. So once again, I have a problem. My Agrionian Axemen dispatched this thorax swordsman, which isn't... The fact that they killed an elephant and this thorax swordsman makes them quite effective. Well, the thorax swordsman's not completely dead, but close. Here I get an attack order with my pikes, so that thorax swordsman's going to get defeated. And I can temporarily shield my skirmishers, so you see what I did there? Set up a screen maneuver here, and then took my skirmishers around. So this just delays the cataphracts from getting to me, and look, I killed that unit with my other ones, so a unit of cataphracts was killed by skirmishers. But now I've got another cataphract into me, but here my Agrionian are close and my Rhodians are close, and the Agrionians are really going to help me versus this cataphract. I do believe they're running low on ammo, but this will be huge help here as javelins are quite effective versus heavily armored units. So I just took a lot of hit points off that cav, but once again my opponent breaks free and my skirmishers are in big trouble. So it's at this point that I'm really thinking, man, I've blown it. I don't have much infantry left. I have this 1 unit here, and I've got these 2 units here. So look, this coastal levy, using it to get my opponent to face one direction. I shouldn't have attacked here, but I was busy microing, but at least I got his pikemen to face away from my own to give me time to reform, so that coastal levy was worth it. Here, one of my Rhodian slingers bites the dust, but gives me time to get away and take more shots. His Hellenic cataphracts is down to 18 men. And at this point, he starts chasing more of my Rhodian slingers, so I go ahead and click an attack order. These Agrionian Axemen are out of ammo, so I'm going to click an attack order on these cataphracts and try and give him something to chew on long enough for my Rhodian slingers, who do have ammo, to turn around and fire. And my opponent sees this unit committing, and he starts committing his units towards it, and then decides against. This is smart. He needs to keep coming after these Rhodian slingers, because I need to take shots right now at his cataphracts. Now, these Agrionians are weak, very weak, but you can see that since he's not committing to that attack order with his cataphracts, he actually starts to lose men. So it's pretty sad, but he is losing a unit of cataphracts to Agrionian Axemen because he's still trying to chase my Rhodian slingers. So my opponent just lost his last cav unit, which means that this battle is now actually winnable for me. So what turned out to be quite bad because of my opponent's cav superiority is now actually kind of turning around. You can see me fleeing with these pikes, or at least trying to. They're still in pike formation. I thought I clicked a run order, but I didn't. Now I'm trying to reform just to get them in pike formation, but it's not going real well. I should have run further away to reform. Rather than reforming right here, I should have backed up, golly, I'm making marks everywhere. Let those go away. Instead of reforming right where I did, I should have backed up and then reformed. But look at these Agrionians again, now becoming a support unit with decent attack. These guys can come into a flank and actually do fairly well. And look at them, come in and finish off this thorax swords under the slinger fire as well. and then I got into the flank of those pikemen, and it's at this point that my opponent is forced to admit defeat. I would have had my own pikes out here ready to face his own. So from the jaws of defeat, Eyre was able to snatch a victory, and Epirus has a Pyrrhic victory. How fitting. So let's take a look at the breakdown here and see what happened, and see what was worth it and what wasn't. I know some of you have mentioned that you don't like it when I do this because you say, Eyre, just take units that are fun. You can do that. You can take units that are fun, but I'm an engineer at heart, and I like breaking down how effective things were. So I just can't help it. Engineer and a businessman all mixed into one. So let's take a look at my Rhodian Slinger. These guys cost 600 talents. A lot of the kills on some of these are from... Well, some of the kills on these are from Persian light archers, which aren't that expensive. But also some of the kills on these guys, remember what I shot. I shot pikemen, which cost 600 talents each. And I also shot elephants, partly. So you have to split that kill between all my skirmishers. So let's say between my 6 skirmishers, we look at the cost. That's 2,400 plus another 1,000, 3,400 talents. Let's think about the units that they were able to kill. So we get 1,500 talents basically right here with the Indian Armored Elephant. So half of my skirmishers were paid for right there. 2 units of Hellenic Cataphracts, which is another like 1,400. Those Hellenic Cataphracts got killed by my skirmishers again. So you add those two together, and now we're talking about, what is that, 4,300 talents that they've killed for the cost of 34. And then they also killed a pike unit, so that's up to 4,900 talents. So this is where my army was effective here. These guys don't have strikingly high kills, but the kills they got were of high value. I'd need to go back and watch it again to understand why some of my pikemen did bad and others did not. Obviously, one of them did bad because they got smacked in the flank by a Hellenic Cataphract, which is enough to ruin anybody's day. And the others may have just been in bad position. My coastal levies, look at this though, Agrian Axeman, 90 kills. This one not so much. That one may have gotten hit by Cav, I don't remember. But yeah, look at this Illyrian levy, a 270 talent unit with 79 kills. Not bad. I don't remember how much Thurios spears cost. Let's go look at that because I know one of them fought a Thurios spear. Let's pick Seleucids so I can see. So Seleucid Thurios spear, yeah, 540 talents. So a unit of literally half the cost made that kill. So that was worth it as well. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. I'll be back with more online battles soon, of course. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.